Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode of iTrack. Huge shout out to all the iTrack fam, man, that is tapping in. Huge shout out to all the iTrack fam in Germany and in Hawaii, man. I've been seeing you guys in the comments like crazy. And also, I left a link to the humidifier somewhere here. I have a whole lot of interesting videos for us today, man, so let's go ahead and get right into it. But before we do that, go ahead and smash that like button for me and smash that subscribe button. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and do that now, man, and let's go ahead and get right into it.
OpenAI is saying their top secret device is about to be more revolutionary than the frickin' iPhone. So their CEO, Sam Altman, is telling employees that it's going to add $1 trillion in value to the company and probably become the fastest selling tech product in history. And they just gave us a sneak peek. Now, OpenAI CEO says the device will be capable of being fully aware of a user's surroundings and life, but it will also be unobtrusive and able to rest in your pocket or on your desk. And they also said it won't have a screen. My guess is it's probably going to look a little something like this, a small device that can listen or see everything happening around you to give you a truly personal and integrated AI assistant, kind of like Iron Man's Jarvis. So, would you cop? Let me know in the comments.
Sounds just a little bit more intrusive than the ChatGPT. With that, you have to log in and give it all kinds of information voluntarily. But if you have an AI on your hip, it's taking in all kinds of involuntary data all day long. So at some point, I'm sure they can create a whole clone of you, right? I don't know how I feel about that, but let me know what you think about it.
Heard about the dead internet theory? No. AI will flood the internet so much where the internet will just be robots communicating with robots. Imagine when it comes to the point where it's like, okay, I don't want to answer my comments on LinkedIn. Just, I set up an AI bot that just answers all of my comments on my LinkedIn posts. But then the people that are commenting on your LinkedIn post are also, they don't want to comment on LinkedIn posts, but they want to stay, they want to have a good relationship with you. So they have an AI commenting on your LinkedIn post until it's just AI talking to AI and the internet is dead. There's no humans. It's just AIs. What happens when all the social media content, the majority of it is also AI generated? This is the dead internet theory.
This is why I keep saying, head on a swivel. Be aware of your surroundings when you're especially in large crowds, in large gatherings. There was a music festival in Paris, France. Over 145 people were targeted and pricked with syringes. You heard what I said. Over 145 people targeted and pricked with syringes. Most of the people that were targeted were teenage girls. The story is the people that were pricked with the syringes noticed a mark on their body. Then they started to feel ill. Now keep in mind, nobody knew what was in these syringes at the time they were used. And it's being reported that 12 out of the over 145 people that were pricked with syringes are being detained. Ask yourself that question. What are they being detained for? So please keep this in mind the next time you're looking to go out. There are a lot of crazy people out there that are looking to do harm and hurt others for no reason whatsoever. Mind you, there was over 1,000 people at this festival, and usually this may kick off a copycat. So please head on a swivel. Just be mindful, be careful. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Everybody definitely needs to be safe out there, man. There's tons of videos that cannot be shown on YouTube that would give you plenty of reason to really keep your head on the swivel. So yeah, man, be safe out there.
This little machine shows how random chaos creates perfect patterns and why the world isn't as unpredictable as you think. When I flip it, watch closely. This is a Galton board, and every ball bounces randomly, left or right. Total chaos. But the outcome is anything but random. Boom, the bell curve. It shows up everywhere. Stock market returns, casino odds, test scores, human genetics. Because while each bounce of the balls is random, the pattern is guaranteed every time. This is how the world works. Randomness, repeated enough times, becomes predictable. Like me, showing up in your feed. Every single time. You might be wondering how this works. Each ball hits a series of pegs and it randomly bounces left or right, like flipping a coin over and over. Most of the balls end up in the middle because there are more ways to get there. That's why it makes this curve. It seems like magic, but it's actually just math. So in the end, randomness isn't a choice. It's just a pattern waiting to happen. Still don't think it's random? Watch it again.
Hey, that's extremely interesting, because one of the first places I ever even heard about the bell curve was in the stock market, and it actually translates to the crypto market as well. The people that buy the stocks early are at the bottom of that curve, and the people who found out late are at the top of that curve. And the people who got in first are selling, so now it goes right back down to the bottom.
These students figured out how to put out fires with sound waves. They're already working on putting these things into drones. Forest fires, all of that gone. Look. We're going to view water putting out fires as barbaric.
This is the arapaima, one of the strongest and deadliest fish in the world. Its skin is so tough, not even an alligator's teeth can pierce it. And when struck with a knife, it can throw off sparks like metal. That's why its scales are studied for bulletproof armor, and even used in luxury fashion. This fish is also known for its explosive power. The arapaima strikes with the speed and force of lightning when it hunts.
Back, I'm talking to Chris Rock. Chris, thanks again for... Back, I'm talking to Chris Rock. Chris, thanks again for...
I'm hoping that was some kind of camera glitch or some kind of like light flare or something like that, because I cannot see Chris Rock being a lizard person.
Well, this story came out today and didn't get very much attention, but I want to make everybody aware of this. So hackers have successfully breached a control system of a Norwegian hydroelectric dam and remotely forced a valve wide open, releasing water at full capacity. This wasn't a test. This was a real-world cyber attack on critical infrastructure with potentially catastrophic consequences. Local emergency services scrambled to respond to water surges downstream. No casualties have been reported. In addition, there was no damage, and luckily the water flow was very limited. But investigators confirmed this was a deliberate cyber intrusion. The attackers bypassed multiple layers of security to seize operational control of physical equipment. This attack exposes a terrifying truth. Many industrial control systems are still vulnerable, online, and dangerously unsecured. Hackers can weaponize a dam. What stops them from targeting power grids, pipelines, or nuclear systems next? This is cyber warfare in real time. The question is no longer if they will hit us, it's when, and are we ready?
All right, this is going to sound insane at first, but stay with me. There's a real government weapon called the V2K Voice to Skull. It's military tech that can literally beam voices into your head. No phone, no speaker, just thoughts that ain't yours. And listen, it is not sci-fi. The patent is real. Look up patent number 6470214. Look that up for yourself. You ever hear that high-pitched ringing in your ear? That random thought that don't feel like yours? That could be synthetic telepathy, okay? This was tested during the Gulf War. They used it to send messages into the enemy minds like, lay down your weapons, God is speaking to you. And it worked. They dropped their weapons. Now, imagine that kind of tech in the hands of the wrong people. You think all of those mass shooters are just crazy? Or did someone plant the idea? And the scary part, they don't even need to microchip you. You carry the transmitter in your pocket your phone, your AirPods, your smart TV. You know, people talk about spiritual warfare, but sometimes it's literally frequencies in your skull. You got to start protecting your mind the way that you protect your home. Because now thoughts are not even private anymore.
And I got a whole video talking about the whole voice of God weapon, right? So, and this was back in the day. I can imagine now the upgrades and updates that they've done. It's easy to get creeped out thinking about what they can use it for or what they might do.
School called. They said he's not getting good grades. His dad gave him like a test or something like that, and he failed the test. Beat him down, beat him till his head was ringing. He went down, and then a voice came to him and was like, go get your school book, go to sleep on that. And then he did that, and when he woke up in the morning, he had the full knowledge of all the book, and that's how he would study for tests and stuff like that.
Stop the cap.
UK, you pay taxes for watching TV. Most people are aware that you have to pay TV license in the UK. Even if you don't have a TV, but you use BBC iPlayer on a device, you still have to pay a TV license. A TV license costs £174.50 for a year per household. So even when you're trying to enjoy yourself and relax, you are still being taxed.
You've seen art, but not like this. This artist draws portraits you can't even recognize until you look from the right angle. At first glance, it's just a mess of swirls and scribbles, but once you place a metal cylinder in the center, an insanely detailed face appears. He's mastered the art of anamorphic illusion, a technique where distorted drawings only reveal their true image through reflection, and he happens to use a metal cylinder as his mirror. His art feels like his pen speaks a secret language, and the mirror is the only translator. Scribbles become sorcery, chaos becomes clarity, and suddenly, the mirror reveals a hidden masterpiece, placing you face to face with someone you might actually know. So now that you've seen the illusion, do you recognize any of the people he drew?
Hey, now that's some real talent. I'm gonna go ahead and give him his props right now. One of those drawings actually looked like Bob Dylan to me, but I don't know. What'd you see?
What if I told you they genuinely aren't? None of you are seeing the world, and this is scientifically proven. If you don't want to freak the hell out after watching this, just keep scrolling. On the electromagnetic spectrum, our eyes can only see visible light, which is this tiny bit here, 0.0035% of the whole spectrum. So we are blind to over 99% of what is actually going on in the world, and this is a fact. Now you also may or may not know there is a hole in the back of your eyeball where the optic nerve exits the eye. Now this is where it's crazy because yeah, if there was a hole in the back of your eye, you'd see holes everywhere, right? Well, your mind fills in the blanks with memory, so it's basically just creating it from your mind. So everything you see isn't necessarily as real as you think it is, because there's a part of reality, the light spectrum that we can all see, but a lot of what you see is being interpreted and made up by your mind to simply fill in the blanks. It of course links into the solipsism theory that I've spoken about before, where you are the only person alive, no one around you, me, no one is real, but your mind is filling in the blanks, creating these people so you don't feel so lonely and have an existential crisis. It's similar with hearing as well though, like we do not have good hearing compared to other animals and creatures. There's only a tiny fraction we can hear and the rest of it we are completely deaf to. So the life we're experiencing is just a heavily filtered, potentially fake version of what is actually going on.
That's interesting because as we go through life, I'm sure we reach points where we think it doesn't get better than that. That's pretty interesting to think that we can have better experiences if we can see more, right? I couldn't imagine what that looks like. That's interesting.
China is unveiling one of its tiniest military drones yet, a mosquito-sized aircraft apparently designed for battlefield surveillance. The tiny unmanned aircraft fits between two fingers, it flies using a pair of flapping, leaf-shaped wings, and can perch using 3 hair-thin landing legs. Claim is the drone's compact size allows it to stay hidden while gathering intelligence in urban or sensitive environments. The drone packs power systems, sensors, and control circuits into its tiny frame, pushing the limits of micro-robotic engineering. The U.S. Air Force is also working on micro-UAVs, though no operational versions have been publicly fielded so far. Beyond the battlefield, scientists see potential for minute drones in fields like medicine, disaster response, and environmental monitoring. Harvard's RoboBee project, for example, developed insect-sized drones that can fly, land, and even transition between water and air. But on the battlefield, these ultra-small drones could become a new tool for silent surveillance, giving militaries eyes where traditional systems can't reach.
And talk about no privacy, man.
Did you guys hear about that 911 operator who got a call at 3:30 in the morning from an abandoned funeral home? If you didn't, I'm about to play it for you. But please keep in mind, this is a funeral home where nobody is currently working. Cops drive by it later to see if anybody was there. It's abandoned, the lights are out, nobody's working. And you can just very faintly hear someone talking.
911, this is Erica. How can I help you? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Another day, another fishing into somebody's wall. Let's get rid of some of this. What is this? Oh, tough. Nope. No, back in the wall.
My cousin just bought a new house and I'm scared. Regular room, closet. What? And there's 2 doors over there. I told her to padlock them because I think someone is living in their walls. Tell me this isn't the most terrifying thing you've ever seen. This is like I would sign my way for that. What the fuck was that? Oh. Pause! I can't.
Okay, so we're up in the crawl space now. Sorry, it's really tight getting back here. And I see this hole. And I decide to look inside to see what's in here, right? And I have a headlamp on right now and my phone light, and I cannot see the bottom.
Hello? Hello? Who's here?
If you have an iPhone, you need to change these 2 settings right now. Hackers have found a way to access your information through these 2 settings, and unfortunately, they're on by default, and they know it. Tap on Settings. From here, tap on Wi-Fi, and I want you to scroll down right here, Ask to Join Networks. Make sure this is turned off. This is the initial step that allows them to access your information. But wait, you're not protected yet. You need to change this setting as well. Tap on Settings, tap on General. From here, tap on AirPlay and Continuity. And this is the second step that allows them to access your phone. They get in through a public network, and then they get in through AirPlay. So from here, tap right here, and I would turn this to either Ask or Never. If you use it on a regular basis, put it on Ask. For me, I'm putting it on Never. This will help protect your phone from being attacked on a public network. I'm curious, were yours both turned on by default?
Of course it was, but man, I needed that.
Okay, time to do some dark web browsing. First of all, open up Tor on Windows because it's the most secure operating system. It's got to update. Connect to Tor, all connected. Go to dark.fail, open the Onion site. Visit Dread today in a new tab. Loading. Now just wait. Oh no, I'm getting redirected. FBI.gov. Why would it bring me to... Oh no. Okay, but for real, I get this question all the time. People love to tell me that Tor is compromised by the US government. A lot of what people believe about this stems from the truth, but it's really not the case. So first of all, people think that Tor was created by the government. In some ways, that's kind of true. This guy right here is Roger Dingledine. Great name, by the way. But he's really the person who created Tor. And he did so in a naval research lab. Primarily because the Navy and the government in general were looking for ways to securely and anonymously communicate. That's why many government agencies still use Tor. But now the Tor project is completely open source. So you can go in and look at the code and see exactly what it is you're downloading. Next, the government does fund Tor. They actually provide about 80% of the Tor project's funding. But again, that's because it is so anonymous and they use that anonymity for their operation. At one point, the US government actually did compromise users of the Tor network, but they didn't actually do this by operating a ton of nodes like people think. They did it with a zero-day exploit to the Firefox browser, which Tor is built on. The WikiLeaks docs show that they have operated some nodes in the past, but they do not operate a high percentage of nodes like people think. And even if they did, it still wouldn't be enough to compromise your privacy without devoting an enormous amount of time and resources. I'll explain why that is in the next part.
An Uber driver is taking home 2 passengers when a car they have never seen before overtakes
overtakes them on the left and then puts on the brakes. Before anyone has the chance to make sense of the situation, the other driver is already hurrying over. He taps on the window and orders the Uber driver to get out of his car, which makes the passengers panic.
What's going on?
I don't know. What's that?
You blew the right leg. Get the out of the car right now.
I'm not getting out of the car.
Go around.
Thinking fast, the Uber driver takes the right course of action by not getting out of his vehicle, driving away instead. They manage to escape and are ready to forget about the whole incident when they see his high beams on them again. That's when they make the second smart decision and get the police on the phone.
Call 911. Make a left here.
Make a left here. Our car is following us. And he bangs on the window and said, get out of the car to the driver.
Eventually, they get pulled over and explain everything to an officer, who proceeds to speed away after dispatching a description of the vehicle to all other units.
It's hard for him to open the doors because they don't know how to open the door with the Tesla.
That's good.
So that actually worked.
Okay, so see, now that's another Did he try to open the door?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
The car that was chasing them is still nearby, and the driver is charged with being under the influence. Kudos to the driver for keeping his passengers safe and not responding with aggression himself. Had he gotten out of the car and into an altercation, he could have been charged with something or made the situation worse.
You have to be a villain to manifest your dream life. You can't manifest while being a people pleaser. The universe doesn't reward self-betrayal. Sometimes self-love looks like disappointing other people. You want your dream life, but you're afraid of being called selfish? Good luck with that. The version of you who gets what they want doesn't beg for approval. They release it. You can't stay likable and step into your highest self. Pick one. The good person isn't the one who gets the soft life. The confident, boundaried version of you does. Who said that? Who said that?
I don't know about you, but I've never seen people pleasing sustain happiness.
3 sisters, one famous last name. But who's the richest Olsen? Elizabeth Olsen, the youngest, chose the big screen. As Marvel's Scarlet Witch, she's cast serious spells at the box office, earning her a cool $11 million so far. At the top, Mary-Kate and Ashley ruled the 90s movies, merch, and full media domination. But they left Hollywood for high fashion, and their luxury brand The Row made them moguls. Together, they're worth $500 million. Yep, that's $250 million each. Iconic. From twin empires to MCU magic, the sisters are slaying different lanes. Who's your fave Olsen sister?
This is happening as we speak in southern states like Georgia, South Carolina, where these are falling from the sky. Here is another example. People are saying that they are feeling their houses shake and hearing booms outside. It's right there. Now I looked it up, and from July to August, there is supposed to be this meteor shower event going on, with it heightened on July 30th. I also read that it's most likely a bolide, which is very bright and explodes, which matches up with what we're seeing. That is what happened in 2013 in Russia. 1,600 people were injured, but no one passed away. If you go on FB, you can see thousands of people in multiple states, even Alabama, saying that their houses are shaking for multiple minutes. They're hearing explosions. They're seeing this come down from the sky. People are rightly afraid, especially with everything going on overseas. And you just never know when everything could change. But unless this super gigantic one made it past everyone monitoring our space, I think we're going to be okay. Also, if this was aliens, they have chosen like the worst places to invade. And I say that as someone who lives in the South. So anyway, hopefully there's no reason to be worried and that we can just go on about our day.
Something weird has happened in San Francisco, and I feel like they're not even trying to hide it from us at this point. Basically, this plane is coming into land at the SFO San Francisco airport. Now, this plane is seemingly just stuck in the sky, okay? I zoomed in here. Look at all the cars. The cars are moving on the bridge. This is this giant bridge outside of San Francisco. This is a passenger in the plane is taking this video of the other plane that, look at this plane. Literally, it is just stuck in the sky and it is not moving. Now people say there's like a parallax or parallel, some effect where it's like if it's moving, it doesn't look like, this plane is not moving. This plane is legitimately just stuck.
An explosion happened today in Huntsville, Alabama at around 3 p.m. June 25th, and nobody's given an explanation for it. Some theories about it are weather anomalies, a radar anomaly, or a flock of birds. Now, I've got this on several different radar websites, so it can't be a radar anomaly. And this is what a flock of birds looks like on a weather radar. And in my opinion, it does not look like that at all. This is an explosion that goes outward in a radius. It almost covers the entire state of Alabama. Alabama covers 52,000 square miles, so this explosion had to have been at least 30,000 square miles across. Another theory is that it came from Redstone Arsenal, a top-secret U.S. Army base known for weapons testing, missile development, and classified military research. This theory comes mainly because you see a large plume of black smoke rising into the air from that direction. The radar for Shelby County Airport also went down unexpectedly, so whatever this was, it wasn't planned. This could all be conspiracy, but it's still so odd to have such a large explosion happen and nobody's talking about it or giving an explanation for it, especially how huge it was. No sirens, no answers. So what's going on in Alabama?
Hey, what is going on in Alabama? Tap in and let me know.
Remember how Red 40 was banned in the United States not even a few weeks ago? Well, I guess all of the food companies are catching up because whenever people on TikTok buy drinks like fruit punch, it's coming out clear. Literally everybody was convinced that there was something wrong with the drinks because we are so conditioned for it to be bright red.
I was just pouring fruit punch and it came out clear.
But there's absolutely no reason for it to be this color. And now that it's illegal, this is probably how all fruit flavored drinks are gonna look like from now on. But fruit punch isn't the only thing with Red 40 in it. Skittles, Takis, and Cheetos are known to contain a ton of it, so there is a really good chance that the next time you go to get a bag of chips, it might be looking like this. And even though it might not look as appetizing, I promise this is a good thing. Red 40 has literally no positive side effects besides the way that it looks. It's known to cause behavioral issues, migraines, and it's even linked to an increase in allergic reactions. And what's even crazier is that the United States is one of the last countries in the world to put these strict regulations on Red 40. Europe has done this forever, and so has pretty much every other country around the world, but as usual, the FDA usually never has our best interest.
I keep telling y'all people that the UFOs, aka ETs, won't let no nuclear blast happen. Look how they stop, and they stop any missiles with ease with their technology. Don't get it confused. The aliens won't let no nuclear blast happen. They're watching, and they always been watching. As a ufologist, you better keep looking. They watching every day.
I think he might have been capping. I don't know. But if you know something I don't, definitely let me know.
There's something above our sun. Look. Okay, so I'm going to record the sun coming out from behind this cloud. Just look. I thought it was a cloud above the sun, but it's not a cloud above the sun. So we have our normal lens flare right here, this little green dot that's moving, but then there's something sitting right above the sun. You guys can say that this is a lens flare, but earlier on in the video I showed that the lens flare was moving around. A lens flare is just a reflection of what's above, by the way. What is that? What is that? I mean, the lens flare is moving, but the thing above the sun is not moving. So, you see the lens flare right there? The lens flare is moving. That other dot above the sun is not. I don't know what it is. You guys say it's a lens flare. I say it's Nibiru.
You say tomato, I say tomato.
Hey, don't freak out, you guys, but there's a UFO hovering above Toronto.
And it's just hovering there.
It
hasn't moved an inch.
Where is it? Oh, I gotta move the camera. Not like, why can't I find it?
Right up there.
Oh my god, look, it's triangular in shape. What is it?
Oh my god, I don't know.
I'm scared.
Oh my god.
What the hell is it? What is it, you guys? Are we being visited? Are we being visited by the UFOs?
Hey, Vancouver, you guys are chill. You see him in the sky, but it's nothing. Hey, I like that.
I'm guessing South Carolina news is trying to keep this Myrtle Beach shit quiet for a reason. But if you don't know, South Carolina residents were on Myrtle Beach and they saw a submarine. And this submarine that they saw had everybody on Myrtle Beach scared. So scared that they called the Coast Guard. So scared that they had people hovering over to see what was going on in the waters. And of course, nobody heard about this, right? Matter of fact, look at this shit. Look at this shit right here.
Everybody's watching. The Coast Guard just showed up on the scene.
Listen.
And the Coast Guard, they got 2 people up on this balloon thing, and they are flying them over where the submarine was last spotted, seeing if they could get a bird's eye view on what's actually going down. The submarine.
Now look at that shit right there.
Lifeguards.
You tell me what that is.
PD has been working to get everybody.
Tell me what that is.
ASAP, because we're trying to figure out what's going on.
Now the person that made that video said news stations are contacting him. Multiple people are contacting him, trying to buy his footage. And he said he thinks that they're trying to buy his footage so they can get rid of it, erase it, like it never happened. But if nothing never happened, why would they want to get rid of his footage? Look at how these people were running off the beach. Check this shit out. Look at this shit.
Everybody's working to get out of here. And now we got people running. Guys, this is not looking good out here.
Yeah.
People are running to get off the beach now.
So you know what happens next in situations like this, right? They try and silence the person that made the video. Y'all go to his page. You will definitely be able to find that in that search bar up there. Jump down that rabbit hole and see what I saw. I'm out.
A few days ago, I posted a video with the guy showing like 3 different drones on Myrtle Beach. I thought it was cap, but apparently, there was something at Myrtle Beach. People definitely were getting on their way because I thought there were just people just ignoring it. But no, they were getting on their way. But if you have more details, definitely let me know, man. Put it in the comments.
God told us not to eat from the forbidden tree of knowledge. He said it was like a fruit hanging from a tree with an abundance of knowledge that we could take from. Now we all have Apple iPhones and we hold them in our hand with the logo of a bitten apple on the back of it, literally giving us an abundance of knowledge from artificial intelligence. Everything comes full circle.
I've been hearing about that thunder from New York from the morning time, and I went to the video to go listen to that thunder, and that does not sound like any thunder I've ever heard in my life. Search New York City thunder sound, and you'll hear what I'm talking about.
Well, I looked the videos up. I found 2 different versions of the video from 2 different angles. Let's go ahead and take a look and see if he was exaggerating or if it sounds like there's something else going on. Hey, now I won't lie, man. They had my headphones rumbling. Like, literally, my headphones were like this. I mean, if there was an actual nuclear bomb anywhere close to New York, since New York is so close to the ocean, I'm pretty sure all that area would be wiped out. Yeah, but let me know what you think.
You had kids within the first 24 hours rolling around in what they thought was mud, but was really human waste.
That mud that these people were in, as far as I was concerned, based on what I saw, it was mud and shit. So I did see people covered in that. Thought that was pretty strange. Not a thing I would normally see where I come from.
Hey, I don't judge. I don't judge. But I'm going to have to do a hard pass on that. I'm going to have to do a hard pass on that Woodstock.
My label is not really with me because of this. They did a lot of bull regarding my health as well. I ran out of money from my advance and I was in and out of the hospital around that time. And they were just telling me you need to do something about your health. You need to get on weight loss medication or something. You need to do something. And in order for you to do that, you need health insurance. Do you have health insurance? I'm like, no, I don't have enough money to pay for health insurance. I think I might have to go back home with my mom. And what they told me was yo, if you make a hit, all your problems will be gone. They didn't offer to pay for my health insurance, nothing. But they told me, yo, if you don't do something about your health, you're going to die. But we're not going to help you pay for it. You know what I'm saying?
But if you make a hit.
But if you make a hit, all your problems will go away. And then after that, the Cup song had a resurgence and it started going up. They was like, yo, we'll pay for your health insurance. You see what I'm saying? They didn't see me as somebody who should live until after that song started going crazy.
So you started making them more money.
Exactly.
No. You just realized that it's a music business. You know, you forgot that these people are only your business partners, nothing more.
The mark of the beast is 666. They say it is witchcraft and it is a sign of the Antichrist. But it's been around for hundreds of years. Nikola Tesla, who was born in the 1850s, created a vortex math solution to basically create an abundance of inventions. So he created radio technology, remote controls. Everything that you do today is basically witchcraft. You watching this video right now is basically witchcraft. It would be none of this technology if there was no Nikola Tesla that had a solution, which was the rule of three, which is 666. It's an equation that basically adds up always to the rule of 3, 3, 6, 9. Keep going, add by 3. You will understand what I'm saying. So no matter what phone you have, what computer you have, any type of wireless device, any type of technology, period, you would be considered doing witchcraft if we're in biblical days. Accept it. Which is why AI is basically the Antichrist, because it is the end result of technology.
Government was behind Throwback Thursday in order to get us to digitize and upload pictures that they would not have had access to improve age progression, facial recognition algorithms.
I've never heard of that, but I believe it. So when they would be like, oh, post a picture of you at this age, post a picture of you as a baby and how you look now, right? For your spouse,
Not to mention those filters that make you look like you can tell how you look like older.
Yeah, exactly like you're saying, a catalog.
Nikki was right about Rock Nation going bankrupt.
My overhead $250 million a year. We needed $40 million just to stay alive.
Leaked home surveillance footage from July of 2023. Founder of Rock Nation, Desiree Perez, confirmed everything Nicki Minaj was saying about the company possibly going bankrupt.
I might not be here 6 months from now. Sink or swim. I should have fucking done it if I had to write you a check.
About 1 year after this footage was recorded, these tweets were put out in the Twitterverse by Nicki. He initially said their bank accounts hate to see the Barb's and Nicki tour and Nicki Deluxe album coming, hunty, bankrupt tings, you're fired, paying the blogs. And if you look at the top, she says that's why they're going bankrupt now. In this leaked home surveillance footage, you can hear Desiree speaking to her daughter about Rock Nation being sink or swim right after COVID had taken place.
During the COVID stuff, when everything was shut down, my overhead $250 million.
Claimed she had a $260 million overhead and needed a $40 million loan just to keep Rock Nation afloat during COVID. Claims that she reached out to a multi-millionaire in order to get that loan, but I don't think it was able to ever be secured. So she had to use cash flow in order to offset the debt.
I said, I got this. And I play with cash flow.
Obviously, she was successful in doing this thing that she is still the co-founder of Rock Nation. Somebody actually had a press conference in front of 20,000 of their employees saying that they wish that people ran companies like she runs Rock Nation. This entire situation is also interesting because two things can definitely be true at once. Rock Nation definitely could have been going bankrupt in the past. Obviously been confirmed by Desiree Perez. Nicki Minaj speculated back in 2024. It could be doing fine now in 2025. As we know, they do have a couple of popular acts. And Desiree went on to say how Rock Nation is a sink or swim type of environment, and I'm curious to know what you guys think regarding this. Let me know down in the comments, y'all. Peace.
Appalachian Skinwalker is much different than the Navajo Skinwalker. Okay, the first difference is that a Navajo Skinwalker, right, is conjured up by a medicine man, whereas an Appalachian Skinwalker is conjured up by a witch in the Appalachia who uses black magic. The other big difference between the Appalachian Skinwalker versus the native Skinwalker is that the Appalachian Skinwalker tends to take the form of objects, and a lot of time almost just comes as an invisible force that calls out to people or follows them. Or, for instance, the Bell Witch, right? It wasn't a witch going after that family. It was a Skinwalker that was conjured up to harm and, terrify that family. So I got a story for you. This is a true story now, and I'm going to show you a picture as well. So there's a man named Donald. Donald was an avid hunter and trapper. He lived near the North Carolina-Tennessee border up in the Appalachian Mountains. And one day, he's out hunting, and he's in the middle of the woods, and he set up, in this deer stand. And he'd been out there all day, and he's, had been hunting for the whole week, so he was getting tired. He falls asleep and dozes off. Well, when he awakes, it's now nighttime and it's gotten dark. And as he's adjusting some things in his tree stand, all of a sudden, whoosh, he hears this loud thing move over the top of him through the trees, you know, like it's some kind of large bird or something. And he thinks it's odd because, like, you know, he hasn't seen, you know, birds that big in that area. But then once again, whoosh, right? This big thing just passes over the top of him through the trees and it's shaking all the branches. And then again, you know, a third time. So, you know, he gets down off his tree stand and is like, okay, it's time to head back to camp. As he starts, you know, walking this trail back to camp, all of a sudden he hears something, you know, say, Donald, Donald, hey, Donald, come play, you know, and this voice just keeps calling to him. And he, you know, it's like freaking out. He's terrified. So he takes off running, and he's running as fast as he can. And all of a sudden, boom, he trips and he rolls. And he realizes he just tripped over this root that is sticking out of the ground. And when he looks up, he notices this big, eerie-looking tree. And, you know, it has no leaves on it, but it has branches that almost look like hands, and it looks like it has a face. And this tree starts staring at him and opens its eyes, and he can see that this tree has taken some kind of physical, like humanly form. And it starts reaching its branches down, and it grabs Donald, and it picks him up, and is shaking him and whipping him with the other branches. Well, Donald still manages to hold on to his rifle, and he just starts firing at the tree. And he manages to hit one of the branches that was holding his leg, and it basically breaks, and he falls to the ground. So he runs back to his cabin, and he gets inside, and he locks all the doors. And all night long, he can hear the tree lashing at the house, trying to get in. And the next morning, all is calm. But he notices outside, there's the tree. It has moved. It's next to the cabin. And he manages to take some pictures, which actually show the face in the tree. And this is the picture that Donald took.
Now our next clip is going to take a look at a guy that has a different approach to what the world's texture might be. He's not saying it's flat. He's not saying it's a globe. Well, let's go ahead and take a look and see what he's talking about.
Earth is not flat. It is not round. It is a living, conscious, multi-dimensional being existing in multiple dimensions simultaneously. You see, it's all happening right here, right now. Dimensions 1 through 15. So if your consciousness is stationed in dimensions 1 through 3, you're going to see Earth as a biosphere. If your consciousness is stationed in dimensions 4 through 6, you're going to see Earth as a carbon, crystalline, geometric being. Consciousness in 9 to 12, pure liquid light being, and perception creates reality. So most human beings think Earth is flat or round because literally they have not activated their multi-dimensional self or upper stranded DNA. And it all has to do with angular rotation of particle spin and particle pulsation rhythm. This is how we shift dimensions and shift our consciousness to be able to see Mother Earth from a higher level of perspective. And so those people who see Earth as flat is simply a two-dimensional shadow of her light body. And the globe, or the round Earth, all it is a projection of a limited frequency bandwidth. And the higher your frequency, the more you will see the true form of Mother Earth, a living Merkaba, a breathing, pulsing, living, sacred, geometric, morphogenetic hologram that reflects and mirrors your consciousness level. So, is the Earth flat or round? Neither. Earth is you. The more you awaken, the more her true shape will be revealed. A 12-planet star, a singing sphere, a living consciousness grid pulsing with the codes of creation. Earth is not a shape to be proven. It is a consciousness to be remembered. If this resonates, share this video, tag a friend, but more importantly, activate your upper stranded DNA, your higher self, because Mother Earth, she given birth. New Earth, and she is crying out for her true sons and daughters to activate and embody their avatar inner Christo's 12th dimensional self.
You think money buys happiness?
Hell no. Actually, there's an amount of money that once you pass it, it buys misery. Once you have a certain amount of money, you can change people's lives. So it's really all people can think about. So it's difficult to make new friendships at certain financial points, right? In America, somewhere around $1 million a year, it starts going the other way, where it's more problems beyond that. And you start getting into really an attack zone.
And there he said some truths in there, man. Hey, money doesn't change you. It amplifies who you actually are. But it definitely will change the people around you because they're waiting for you to change their situation. A lot of the times. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. So he was somewhere in the ballpark of being right for sure.
It's really curious how we've been shown what this reptilian entity looks like. There's a photograph of Salvador Dali, a real initiate. By the way, I studied with the same Kabbalist who taught Salvador Dali. She never showed me this. It's an image of a reptilian that he's holding up like this. And it's about, oh gosh, I don't know, 6-7 inches tall. Now, this reptilian, sort of where we have our third eye, has a protruding horn-like figure in the center of its forehead, on top of its head. That's called the proboscis. That comes off and goes into the eye, and within 2 weeks kills the human soul and takes over the memories and consciousness. That's what they call it, soul scalping. And they have found really similar reptilians in animals that they don't understand how it's gotten into the animal's head, how it's gotten into their brain. Animals who were behaving strangely and had to be put down. So the whole thing is really mysterious. And those who have had the black eye very often start behaving differently. Now, have we seen Trump with the black eye? No. We've seen him with a red left eye. And is he behaving erratically? Oh, he's doing some really cool stuff, right? But also, one week he's coming out and talking about the evils of mRNA and what's going on in Israel. Then the next week he's saying crazy things about Gaza and promoting AI and mRNA shots. So it seems really inconsistent. Now, this may not be necessarily due to a virile parasite. It could be clones, and we'll come on to that in a moment.
Yes, the Black Eye Club is definitely an interesting topic, and I definitely need to do a deep dive into that because there's so much going on. Well, you guys, hey, that's another one in the books, man. Hey, I appreciate each and every one of you guys for stopping by and watching another one with me. If you haven't already, smash that like button for me. Smash that subscribe button. Go ahead and join the iTrack fam if you haven't already, and I will definitely catch you on the next one.